There it is. Made it.
Hype train incoming. Choo choo. Ah, with Ripley right between. Perfect thumbnail.
There we go. Boom.
A cat shows up.
They know.
They just know.
They know what's happening. Oh, hello.
Oh.
I have to slouch a little bit.
Oh,
Did the camera
Keep an eye
get
on these
moved?
groups.
no.
Maybe.
Shouldn't have.
My head?
Sheriff?
No.
Sorry.
Whoa, thank you so much. Yeah, that's
Sure,
fine. I'm just
Junkie,
gonna-
thank
just gonna
you.
sit back a bit.
No, I can fix
That's-
that.
No,
No, you're
relaxed.
Slouch all session.
Cat.
Is that better or worse?
That was a little worse. That's better.
Sit up.
Yep.
So much more cats, I
That's
think,
good. That's good.
If you're interested.
Level 3 complete.
We're
No,
busting through.
we'll figure it out. Well, we don't have to.
Infinite thumbnail
that
posing.
didn't even work.
I'll grab it.
Did we get that blast? We got caught. Game Mommy, Cheeky C, Onyx Path.
Nice. They
That
better
is pretty
start
nice.
using our emotes.
You're welcome.
Take that, Onyx Path Con. Now it's RPG Clinic Con.
Yeah.
Damn,
what's
damn.
up?
Oh, they just
Wait, hang
finished Onyx PathCon, I think.
Or it's wrapping up right now or something. Yeah. It's true. It was just the weekend. And the weekend's already here.
I'm with Luke on this.
Oh, wow,
one.
this is
Very
the wrong
exciting as
track.
well.
I'm sort
Because-
of wondering if maybe Loom of Fate might be having a nap.
Why?
Maybe not.
Yeah, the bot. I don't see it. Didn't open. That's weird. Thank you.
Hi, Ripley. You gonna come sit with us? Yeah. Whoa, buddy.
Happy 6 months.
Whoa. Oh, I don't think you should go that way. Oh, yeah.
Everyone just
There we
chill.
go.
Everyone just chill a little bit. I know you have a lot of exciting box towers to climb,
Yeah,
okay?
why don't you go climb some box towers?
Lumba's on the way.
Lumba.
I don't know what happened there.
Strong.
Yeah.
Ain't they just?
It's usually part of the thing. Maybe one of us accidentally X'd it
What is
when
cat?
we're moving
Oh, I
windows.
see. I understand now what happened. Okay. I understand the whole situation. I now fully comprehend what's going on.
Oh boy.
Well, folks, it's been 21 episodes of our most recent campaign, ExalTwitch Academy. And as is tradition, we are enjoying frozen desserts and your company.
Yep.
Keep fueling the
Frozen.
machine of high.
Thank you very much for joining us with your company. We appreciate it. Because it's always fun to hang out, the four of us, but you know. Nice when there's other people here too, is what I'm saying. Hey, look at all this. Look at all these bits.
We also really appreciate, of course, the support. Although we are going to point out, the support is fantastic. We make great use of it. But the best support you can give us is your presence. Whether it's here live or if you just talk about us somewhere else, whether it's on Discord or Twitter or anything like that, leave a comment on a YouTube page, or even just give us a salute as we drive by. That's what matters.
That's the RPG Clinic car. Quit, stand up to attention, Billy.
It would cost something along the lines of $300 to get an RPG Clinic license plate here in Quebec.
Honestly, that's
And then, like,
money well
You speak
spent
like
to
someone
me.
who's checked.
And then it'd be like $35 a year to renew that.
Toasted.
Hey, thank you,
Thanatos, thank
Thanatosu.
you.
Wow.
So that's not as expensive as I thought it would be. I'm not gonna
My
lie.
father had a vanity plate for a very long time, XN-trick, for a very long
Really?
time. Yeah, it
Your
was
father.
beautiful.
That's very much your father.
as he
father.
was getting rid of it, he was like, "You sure I can't interest you?" I was like, "I don't think they transfer, Dad. Also,
Why
I'm
didn't you
leaving the
ask me?"
province. Look, I was leaving the
Oh
province. It was
yeah,
a whole
fair.
thing. I would fully do that again, though. Damn, that was good. Thanks, Trey.
Can we get to 5? That's indeed
Man.
the question. We are 24% away.
Grubermensch, thank you so much for the donation.
Rivermensch.
Oh, Grubermensch.
Sugar junkie.
That's it.
You did it.
Thanks,
We're all
folks.
mouths
Wow.
full of ice cream.
This
Calls for
hey,
a
we can.
Frank's or something.
Woo! Zach rules. Zach rules. You rules.
This is what? Yeah, so kind.
Thank you.
109%. Oh shit! It just keeps going up.
My God.
My God.
Foot.
Foot intensifies.
Hello, Krister.
Oh,
It's good to see all these
hello.
people here.
Lovely.
So what are we doing today? That's actually a pretty good question, right? Well, for one thing, we're going to put on some chill vibes.
Herb. That's how I'm feeling right now. Like I need some chill vibes. Be clear.
Questions about E3 trailers in the chat there.
I have to. So yeah. So Thanatoasted got my number. Luke also has my number. I am biasedly very interested and excited. I actually, for those who haven't seen the trailer for The Outer Worlds 2, I would strongly recommend it because while I think the crux of the trailer has been done before, I don't think I've ever seen it done for a video game before, and you'll know exactly what I mean when it starts. So check it out. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
Well, today,
Excuse me.
what we're looking forward to
not this.
is we're going to be talking about the previous season. We're going to be answering your questions, soliciting your comments. Might have a few questions for the players in our dating game-esque scenarios, and we got some news about what's coming up. But all of that is happening today, right here. We're being pretty chill. 87% humidity.
That's gross.
Erwin, it is the driest June on record here in Montreal, which means that it is, like, honestly, like, outside, it's pretty nice.
Not too bad.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
that our shitty humid summer has moved its way to you. It's
Yeah.
less
Sorry
cool.
about that.
Spicy ramen is honestly also sounds pretty awesome.
Honestly.
But yeah. So
Hmm.
I guess the first thing that, of course, we're just gonna have to ask on everybody's mind is, do you think you would have graduated?
I mean,
You know,
Probably.
work hard, you succeed. Boom.
yeah.
That is a good question.
Undeniably, yes.
Like, yes, over here for sure. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
even, like, speaking as the PC who is, I think, the least academically inclined, if I may be so bold, I still think Pyres would have succeeded. Like, I don't think he's dumb, you know what I mean? Like, so,
we were all performing very well at school.
yeah.
We were doing great.
The question is whether or not something else would have, like, sidetracked us from studying.
That's
you know,
true.
If events had not unfolded as they had.
I mean, it is always possible to graduate. You just have to die.
All
If
right,
you
they
graduate,
you.
they graduate you with honors post-mortem. Can our peeps
Oh,
go
yeah,
bonfire
we
for
should have had,
Froyo?
like, a
Yes.
graduation ceremony
Yes, they
As we
can.
go
amongst
on.
the ruins.
Amongst the ruins. Yeah.
There we
Good,
go.
actually.
Woo! Computer starts lagging. If it was on, this was happening on my computer would not be able to handle it. But yeah.
Aww.
So when we started, you were at the beginning of your 5th year. Did you think that we were going to be going in about maybe 2 weeks before everything exploded?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I thought we'd have a bit more time. Before the explosions. Yay, success!
Yay!
Thanks to all who made this hype train such a success.
Yeah, I definitely was expecting maybe a little less, you know, school exploding, collapsing
Hmm.
from the campaign, but it went there.
Damn dramatic.
Yeah, I
bad.
definitely wasn't expecting the schools to like be razed to the ground.
Yeah, I mean, darn dramatic though.
Aragorn and I were both like, "Ooh, do you think the dance will be next week?"
Mhm.
There it is. Dealing with bullies and figuring out who to take to the dance.
It's like, what's a
Beach
bully?
episode. No. Denied.
Is it really denied though?
Or is it delayed?
Yeah. Like, it still could happen.
I mean, I felt like it, like the pace of the season really, because we kicked off with a mystery, right? A mystery that brought us all together. Not necessarily to solve. And I'll just, sorry. Yeah, I'll just put this on. There we go. Not necessarily for us to solve, but for us to ponder together, and then being challenged by greater and greater situations. Kind of pushed us, I think, the three of us to try to find things out.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a question, which is for my own edification here. Magani, we can't believe it either, because you're so awesome.
Excuse me, everyone. Sorry.
The way that the campaign went from session 0 to session 21, obviously a lot happened. Despite the fact that it was in a shortened time frame, do you think that you could have prevented the destruction of the school?
I mean,
Asking the hard questions right off the bat. Let's go.
no, it's a good question though. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna jump in first here, folks. I feel like, hindsight is 2020. I'm pretty sure we were on board with the fact that Viren wasn't a good guy. I'm pretty sure we were on board with that right away. And like whether or not he's at the top of this, I mean, I don't think so, but like he was definitely a driving force in the events of the first season. So if we had somehow, I guess, managed to get on his good side and changed his mind about something or turned his wrath towards someone else, maybe, but that feels super unlikely. We wouldn't have known that was his plan, right? He would never reveal that to a student. I mean, sorry.
Well, he would
might have
reveal
revealed
it
that
to
to
you,
me.
yeah.
He might have told me. That would have been bad.
Yeah, but I think then we would have just had to sacrifice something else, like Juin. I think it would have either been Juin or the school.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
We decided with Viren.
Like, I think if we had gone with him, maybe even as late as that day in the infirmary, maybe there would have been a different path, but I don't know. I think maybe we'd just be in the attacking force instead of the defending force.
No.
So, I guess then the question then ends up being, do you feel that you had agency on what occurred?
Yeah.
I mean, it's always like, I think, in the sense that there was an attack on the school, well, I mean, no, because it was a surprise, But like, in terms of reacting to it, defending, because we could have also just pieced, right? Like, I don't think there's any reason that as PCs we could be like, we're out. I don't think we would either. It's always an option. The tactical withdrawal, I was going to say.
I think it felt very similar to how a bunch of students would have felt in that situation, which is there's things going on. There's a bunch of adults who are doing idiotic things and we're caught in the crossfire and we just have to survive. I think there was a certain element of that, and like we could definitely affect certain parts of the outcome, but it definitely felt like a bigger than, but that was also kind of how it felt it should feel in a way.
But I think that we could have either focused on the staff and left the students defend for themselves, or we could have focused on each other and like just defended our hearth. So I think that we definitely could have ended up with slightly different outcomes for sure. Just been like, fuck this, run away. Or we need to find this one person and focus on them.
Yeah.
Well, what would have happened had you decided to just, as Kung Fu Fenris has mentioned, what if you had just bought in hard on the Immaculate Philosophy?
Well, this is the question, right? Like, I think presumably then at that point when it was revealed that there was an anathema at the school, 2, I guess, by some counts, 3 by some counts, I think we would have become pretty zealous, right? Like I assume we would have become like a little mini wild hunt. Try to either take those people down or like go and get support and like try to deal with it ourselves. I don't know.
Because
Right?
she was injured when we encountered her in the glade, right? So
Yeah.
we had the opportunity to defeat her. And I think that would have definitely shifted the direction versus where we did go. Because then it wouldn't be, mystery. It would have been like, we found an anathema, we destroyed it. Haha,
Yeah.
we are the best. We're just students and we conquered and build our reputation as young dynasts and all of that.
Yeah.
So
And for what it's worth, I actually think that's a pretty exciting sounding campaign too. It's just like in that moment, we all had certain ties to Juin and certain feelings about Viren, and that kind of impacted what we were thinking.
And Shirin Osho asks, what if Viren actually recruited you in that scenario?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have much more to say about it. Yeah, exactly.
Because Kung Fu Fenris, I think, makes a very good point. I don't know if you'd be considered zealots
no.
at that point. I think you would just be considered inhabitants of the realm.
Yeah, proper citizens.
I guess what I mean is like our actions would have been zealous, right? Like we would have been pursuing something with zeal is all I'm saying. Like it's you're right though. Yeah, it would have been, I think, perfectly natural. In fact, frankly, like if most of the school was like, sorry, you what? Like I think there'd be a lot of, if more people knew, we'd be in more trouble. Yeah.
Sugar Junkie actually has a really interesting but less perhaps serious question. If sport participation were mandatory, individual or team, what sport would each PC or NPC in the Hearth have chosen?
I mean, it's not really fair because I think the sport came to me when I was creating pyres, but like of course it's beach volleyball. Like I don't have anything more to say. Well, beach sometimes of the year, of course, but
Not
I know
equestrian?
Equestrian. Nice.
Just
some polo.
Straddling a stallion. Doing some dressage.
Oh, very nice. I think I have ride one. I can ride. I know how to ride. Okay. Anyway, that's me. That's me for sure.
As Gillard Good points out, Gateway is a sport, but secondary would be Ultimate Frisbee.
Yes!
That's actually really fair.
I'm actually really good at throwing frisbees. It's a weird skill that Liz, have. I can throw a
really?
frisbee very accurately, like in a super straight line.
I wonder if there are any disc golf courses close to where you live.
I was going to say, we're clearing your property, just frisbee all the time. Oresta naturally.
Yeah. Very nice.
Swing!
Yeah.
Flivian would probably be water polo.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's you know what I have to say is a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
I hate playing water polo. I played it for a while.
Oh damn. Okay, I just played for fun.
Yeah, I played it for a while, and the problem with water polo is that if you get at all competitive at all with it, your nuts are forfeit.
Anything under the water? Hard for
you
the
can't
refs
see
to
it.
see what's happening.
Yeah, people are kicking you, they're grabbing you, they're yanking you. There's a reason
horrible.
that you have to wear the bathing caps with the ear protectors on. Like,
Oh my god, guys, spirit of the game and all that.
Oh my god, cards and knives.
Oh damn, it's a big step up.
Amazing. Yeah, can you play water polo naked?
You can. Should you?
It doesn't say in the rules that a dog can't play basketball. Okay.
and I feel like Siontel would be into capture the flag.
Yep.
But if she had to pick like a more traditional sport, Siontel would probably. It's actually an interesting choice. I don't know. We're gonna stay with capture the flag. I'd honestly like to see Gail do biathlon.
Yes. Cross country skiing and shooting. Well, shooting pew pew. But,
With the fire wand.
right?
Oh my god.
Find the target.
So we're getting some cool questions in now.
Yes. questions.
Aragorn asks, skipping further back, how do you think the initial forming of the Lost Hand, former fangs being expelled, etc., versus starting out in the same fang, impacted how your characters developed? Did not having pre-established close relationships have an impact on the approaches used by or positions within the fang?
I would say definitely not having the pre-established close relationship had an impact for Gale, because I just saw, like, as soon as I realized that that was how the setting was being established, I made a snap decision that Gale hadn't been close to her former fang mates, and had always just been the one to come up with strategies, and then they would just basically put out their hands, she would give it to them, and that would be it. And then as soon as she started with the Lost Hand, Aresta especially, like, did that, like, just improvised something that was not the plan in, like, game one or two, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Gale was like, but it worked. And it, like, it blew her mind. And also, like, made her want to get to know everybody better. So it definitely impacted, because I think if they'd all had this pre-established relationship going in, it would have been, there wouldn't have been those moments of discovery as much.
Agreed. 100%.
I mean, I had secretly had the Aresta having been jealous of Pyres growing up, so that was a fun thing for me to have in my pocket. And the whole jostling for potential leadership wouldn't have been a thing if we had been a Fang. So, yeah.
Really good point, actually, Kit. I wanted to bring that up because I wanted to just, like, say thanks, I guess. I don't know, like, not thanks, but I don't think I've ever been as legitimately surprised in a game to have, like, a PC secret come out about my PC and be like, what? Like, I felt a little betrayed and a little sad, and I was like,
Whoa.
oh no. But, like, not in a bad way, just that, I think what's interesting is not knowing that. I was like, okay, well, everyone expects Pyres to be the leader. Pyres expects Pyres to be the leader. I guess I'm going to do this. It was a very, that back and forth was really intriguing. Like you say, jostling for leadership was really cool.
It was a deliberate choice. What I didn't want is to have, because fangs are traditionally a group of 5, what I didn't want is for them to start knowing each other, but also know 2 NPCs and have those 2 NPCs part of the group. I decided to do it this way, as opposed to the other option would have been to have you lose your 2 NPCs in your fang right away, whether it was through death or expulsion or whatever. But I decided to make it part of the mystery. Add some hooks in there, and also see how much you wanted to try and engage with the other members who were gone. So, but it was actually born out of my belief that I didn't want the 3 of you to have a pre-existing relationship this time around. We had that for Star Wars, and I wanted to see what it would be like if you didn't have it.
And Changeling as well.
Yeah, we were aware of each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't starting at 0, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'd done Renos. Boop, boop, boop.
Grubermensch asks, what NPC turned out really different from what you expected?
That's not gonna work.
No, nothing. No NPCs.
No, it's a really good question. I think it's a really important one.
I mean, when Garavel was introduced, I thought, okay, well, he's either going to betray us or he's going to die. I had fallen into I was pretty sure he was a traitor for a little while, so I guess then he turned out different from what I expected.
I mean, Bracken to some extent, but that has to do with the whole reveal. But I still think that the way she responded to it and dealt with it was kind of a surprise. And Bruin, or whatever that ship name is, Jackin. Being a ship, definitely. I shipped it, but I didn't actually think it would happen.
Jackin?
Jackin'.
Yeah.
Jackin.
Jackin' and brewing.
Aragorn drew in for me because we watched your character creations that was full of lies. Yet don't trust me. It's
Straight
really a dumb idea. I don't like being tied down to my own notes.
Yeah, the tip-off was John saying, like, I'm going to have a stream where I prepare for this campaign. Wink. I'm sorry.
I believe I put disclaimers in those sessions being like, I'm not necessarily going to keep all this.
Yeah, these could change, yeah.
Aragorn, it's because of my winning personality. My dashing bald head.
The fact that the jacket's open, I just noticed.
Oh.
A little casual.
I'm not playing today.
It's a little relaxed.
Any other NPCs that particularly shocked you?
Brevin had a switch partway through the season, and I think that was like, I get the sense that the relationship that we were building kind of like turned a corner at one point, but I was still surprised when it happened because there was like some tension, and then there's like some cruelty, and then there's some weird distrustfulness and trustfulness, and there's a whole bunch of very mixed feelings and layers on top. But like from that first session, I was like, oh, okay, this is the character that I don't like, but I'm incredibly attracted to, or whatever. And then that changed.
So Grubermensch apparently also meant the question for me. Did any NPC end up very different from the initial plan? And then I'm also going to bring up, was it full of lives, or did I decide that Joan was the anathema later on? Okay, so here's the thing. What's this? Oh, I see. We're thanking Aragorn. I thought you were like, shit.
No, I was like,
I will sometimes make changes as things go on because I'm still a firm believer in the players actually being a huge driver of the plot. Had there been decisions that were made that were different than the ones that had been made, then absolutely I would have potentially changed things in order to keep things interesting. If, for instance, we started the game right away, and the first thing that was out of the three PCs' mouths are, I'm going to find me an anathema and make an example of it, then that could change where I'm planning on going with the plot, because then I know, oh, okay, they genuinely just want to join the Wild Hunt, and then that can make things different. I will also sometimes make changes if somebody comes up with an idea and I'm like, I like this idea. I like it quite a bit. And it's supported. Only if it's supported, obviously. Like if I establish, for instance, that Bracken is a particular type of exalted and it's very clear, and then someone's like, I think she should actually just be a heroic mortal. I'm not going to be like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Like I can't break the universe that well. But at the same time, I don't often just arbitrarily make choices like that right away. And if I did, I would be foolish to make that obvious. I'd be foolish to kind of make it clear that like, oh yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing half the time, because then it would feel like the world would feel unsupported. So the real answer that I can give you for this one though is yes, Juin was always going to be anathema. I hadn't solidified what kind until a little into the campaign, but it was definitely by like session 3 or 4 that I knew exactly what it was going to be. Because I'd already kind of been leaning towards that from 1 anyway. I was just like, oh, I'll change it if I have to. But no, she was intended to be that way from the start. Because I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
we're a sneaky one.
Thanks for good stories, though.
Yeah.
From Sugar Junkie, when the PCs decided to recruit 2 more, did you feel an attachment to anyone specific? Were the relationship that came from that choice a surprise? Were there any alternative choices should they have said no?
Last question first. If we hadn't gotten a yes from those 2, I think it would have at least waited another session.
I would have killed them for their insolence.
To like get through that game and see who else became a free agent. That would have been my strategy.
Yeah, Gail would have probably started to organize tryouts.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Now I'm just imagining Gail like striding forward with a whistle.
Clipboard, yeah.
She's set up like an obstacle course, like, you know, to test your wits, your strength, and your charisma.
Is Gail the referee from Guts? Mo?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah,
knows
you heard it here first.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Scott?
I would have pushed for Brevin. For sure.
There's no
game.
way Gail
And this
would
is the
have
thing.
allowed
I
it.
think
Not in a million
because
years.
of the drama. Because of the drama. I want to be really clear.
He was so mad at us.
He was so mad at us. And I've been like, guys, this is going to be good for him.
Absolutely
To be
not.
put under my thumb. Like, what an asshole. For sure.
Absolutely not.
That said, I don't know, like relationship, like I don't think we knew the NPCs that well. I seem to recall the logic at the time being like, they're a water and a wood aspect. There's a nice symmetry to it. Like, I seem to recall that being part of the logic at the time.
Yep.
Sion Tail certainly was like appealing to me as a person.
Sorry.
As a player, as a human being. No, as a player who wanted to know more about her, but also as a character who was like, oh, she seems, really cool. She seems my type, perhaps, I think was what Pyres was thinking at the time. I know.
Pyres.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. That's my thoughts on that. Vaguely scary.
I mean, makes sense. Gil Adgood asks a question that I was anticipating. This one's for me. You introduced 3 wood aspects in this campaign. One is a # secret solar, one died, and one wanted to walk away despite being in the same hearth. What the fuck, man?
Wood aspect is the crafts. No, wood aspect is the twilight of
Oh,
Oh,
no.
Yes,
Gotta
but
have
ouch.
something at
I
least.
was a Twilight.
So I will point out 2 things. The first is one of them died, and that wasn't my fault. The second is that one of them wasn't wanting to walk away from the hearth. One of them was wanting to not make the hearth auspicious.
Mm-hmm.
There was never, the intention was never that she was like, I want to break up the hearth. The intention was like, maybe we should split up for a while because we're too obvious together. And then they... What's...
One of them died, and it's not my fault. You literally had your NPC kill Caravel. Like, I'm sorry.
It's true. I remember that discussion where I was like, I could bring you back. And Garavel was like, no, I'm good here. And I was like, okay, I'll come right back for you. And I didn't. To be fair, I did not. And then he was dead. It's so sad. We love Garavel around here.
I mean, I also
Couldn't even insist on bringing
distinctly
them
remember a moment where somebody was looking at Garavel with intense interest, and you were like, I don't need to worry about that, and you just kept going.
Yeah, because it was Bracken. Because I'm an idiot who doesn't know that there are 2 of them, I guess. That was a bad move, actually.
So I guess the point is, Garavel's death wasn't preordained.
Integrity is strong.
Why so mad?
It is sad. It means that we could have done better, and he could have still been alive.
The
They should
Look.
have failed successfully.
there is something that I did want to make sure that I brought into this, which is that your actions have consequences.
Yeah.
The stories behind Exalted are larger than life. They're big deals. You have the ability to move and shape creation, etc., etc. The thing that I wanted to avoid was just that you win. You just always win.
Yeah.
And the idea that things like the House of Bells falling was also not something that was preordained. but came about as a result of the actions of NPCs and the actions of PCs either supporting or not supporting them. And that's not to say, haha, it's your fault the House of Bells fell. I don't think that that's what you should come away with it. But there is absolutely choices that are made and consequences to be had from those choices.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the thing is, had you gone back for Garavel, you might have lost somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Or had you gone back for Garavel, maybe that would have meant that Pyres would have had to face off against who I actually prefer calling her Neckcarb. I think that
Are we going with Neckcarb now?
Well, because
Oh, you can go
Fracken and Bracken sound too similar.
That's fair.
It's a little harder to keep them apart.
It's also the in-game reference, because that is exactly what Aresta would have done. She'd be like, backwards. Neckcarb.
So it's the idea of the choices just still end up being like what's going to happen. I will say things though that during the battle, a lot of things occurred that would not have happened had it not been for the actions of the three of you. Canceling stratagems, coming up with logistics. You managed to save almost every student. That's not what I expected. Now, you lost most of the faculty.
They're adults.
But
What?
They should be able to fend for themselves.
We're adults.
They're
Yeah,
like
what the hell,
established
man?
adults. They're probably Essence 3 or 4. Meh.
Yeah.
Or 5.
It is pretty rough to like, and I know this isn't how they all went down, but like it is pretty rough to be like, okay, faculty meeting, and then just like a single spell and they're all like on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know that's not how they
true.
all went out. Then there was like another fight.
I
afterwards.
was really bummed. I had some FOMO when you were describing like the corpses and how they were clearly in the midst of putting up an amazing fight. I'm like, damn it, why didn't I get to see that?
You
I
need
was
a-
bummed. I was
my
bummed
God,
we
this is the
couldn't
most
do that.
epic fight you've ever seen.
No,
God.
that's just on Gail's list of like other exalts to find. One that can like let her like play back the past events.
Yeah, seriously, she wants to be present for all the battles.
She needs to get up to Yushan into the repository of secrets.
Ah.
And thus Gail's life ended. Rewatching history. Just again. Next one.
And she was happy.
Getting older. and
Happier
older.
than she'd ever been in her life.
What secret will you give up? I never want to leave. Oh. Okay.
Well, I think that's
Pyres has
what
3 sets of
Gale was
handcuffs.
hoping to do with the final battle, but it didn't pan out. Something happened that changed things. But like what Gale wanted to do was go into the woods, find Juin, and say, go save the students in the school, and then see what Juin would do. She assumed Juin would go into like crazy warrior solar mode,
Yeah.
and she wanted to watch that happen. Didn't happen.
Well, because even like a
don't.
presumably a solar who's like survived for so long isn't about to like throw themselves up against an army of warriors.
Her defining intimacy was protecting the students.
Sure, but like maybe by drawing the army away, or I don't know. Like, I'm
If
not
you'd
sure.
have killed her,
would've
she
been
wouldn't have been
epic.
able to protect them.
Yeah.
Kung Fu Fenders asked, what did you narratively gain from the Fang mates you got?
A relationship. Some humor, some comic relief. That's super unfair. I'm sorry. I'm joking around. I think no. I mean, honestly, I gained 2 more NPCs against which I could measure Pyres and find Pyres
Fuck.
lacking and/or no. I'm serious. Like and/or and/or superior.
We also got more danger.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Celsi plot.
Very
Yeah.
true. Narratively, yeah. That's my point 3 on my
More
list of
threats.
dangers.
A couple of friends for Aresta so that it wasn't all enemies all the time.
Oh no, it's true. Oh god. I need a spoon for this. This is ridiculous.
It's
I'm
fair.
gonna use my straw as a fucking spoon, like a
Like
dummy.
someone eating a milkshake.
Can I ask you for
A drink? Yes.
A
I'm just gonna step away from the table for a brief moment.
I'll point out that we are logging your questions and we're bringing them up as we can. So if you've asked a question We are slotting it in. If we've missed your question, because it can happen, ask again. I guarantee you there's going to be a question or two that we can't or won't answer. But we'll still do our best to at least acknowledge the question being asked.
Then do we want to do this question right away since Scott's up?
Sure, why not? Was Siantel's romantic interest in Gale an idea before it happened, or was that purely Gale-led?
That's a question for you, John.
No, I think that's a question for you, actually. I think you know the answer to this one.
I guess, like, I had the idea that Gale might be interested in Siantel and then messaged John and let him know. And basically said, like, you don't have to tell me what Siantel is thinking, but this is where I'm comfortable going with the game and where my PC is comfortable with going. So once we had that established OOC, then it played out. I see. And then Gale got to discover, and Liz got to discover what Siantel thought.
So the concept of building NPCs as romance for the players is not something I like to do, because I don't want to present somebody as like, well, this is the person who I want to ship with your character, because what if A, they reject it, or B, it sometimes comes across as a little bit too much like, I tailor-made this character to basically be who you would want to be with. And I don't kind of like that. I don't like that implication. So instead, I kind of leave it a bit more ambiguous. There have absolutely been times in my games, and Liz has actually run up against this in the past, where a PC shows interest in an NPC and the NPC's like, nah, fam.
No. No.
Sometimes because they're already taken, sometimes because it's just doesn't fall into their romantic or sexual preference. So there is kind of characters as a whole tend to do have like some predetermination. For instance, had Pyres hit on Siantel, I can't tell you whether or not, like, I can't tell you exactly what would have happened, but she may have been just as likely to be like, oh, well, there's somebody who's showing interest in me and going for that instead. Yeah. Or she might have turned around and been like, I don't know, man, Pyres isn't my thing.
Not my speed, yeah.
Either not my speed because it's Pyres, or maybe not my speed because he's a dude, or maybe it's not my, there's a whole bunch of other things. I'm not going to reveal it because, like, there may end up being a time where that might come into play.
Yeah.
But I will say that my NPCs that are of romanceable positions, I'll admit that they tend to be more likely to be bi than not sometimes. Right. Because it's just, I don't want to necessarily close off too many based on sexual preference. So like if Siantel was there and if Pyres had hit on her versus Gale whispered hitting on her, like I'm often just sort of like, sure, although that's also backed up by Exalted setting canon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah.
So there is a certain amount of that as well. But the long story short for that question, Siantel was never designed to be Gale Whispered's romantic interest. Instead, there had to be certain things that happened for Siantel to become interested in someone, and Gale Whispered successfully did those things. Mm-hmm. Whether she did that on purpose or by accident, you'd have to kind of figure that one out on your own. And then there's Aresta.
Hello. Did we discuss at all, or maybe Kate, do you feel comfortable talking a little bit about like where Aresta's coming from right now in terms of being a young Prince of the Earth,
sowing her oats?
I mean, yeah. if school was still in session, there'd be a whole sea of classmates to choose from. But I don't know. I think it depends on what comes next for her.
Yeah, it does. Presumably we'll get to meet, there'll be some like meetings for them in the future.
I'm disappointed that Arresta's like movie outing with Quick Rat was canceled.
Oh, the steak dinner.
Due to lack of school.
Yeah.
The steak dinner, yes.
He had found a steak though, but then like, she dismissed everyone. So she was like, okay, go, leave. So
leave me.
Leave us.
I mean, can't guarantee he wouldn't follow though, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, really.
Let's see.
Loves being on stream, I tell you guys.
What lesson did y'all get from a long mystery plotline?
Good question.
More dots and investigate, even if I'm not supposed to be good at it. just min-max? I don't know.
I started adding more dots into investigate as we went along.
I think I learned what I typically learn when I play a new campaign, which is always always refine how your character goals can interact with the world around you. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, if you have a character goal, you can pursue it regardless of your setting. It's just some of them are going to be a bit more difficult to accomplish than others. So, like, how can a PC, like, how can a player make have their character's goals align with the mystery to kind of like try to drive the story forward a little bit? Like, I mean, sorry, or the opposite, which is just maybe I don't care about the mystery at all, and I'm like, I'm good. In which case, what can we be doing to move something forward in that sense?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, though.
I think I still need to get comfortable with the fact that we can't solve every mystery. I can't 100% a mystery because John always brilliantly introduces like 4 very compelling plot hooks, and you just have to be okay with following 1, maybe 2, and then learning 10 sessions, 20 sessions later that like these 2 that you let fall by the wayside, like now maybe there's something tragic that happened because you didn't follow them. But that is that you can't try to follow 4 things simultaneously, because it's going to make for some really like tepid role playing, because you're not going whole hog on anything. So yeah, that's something that I still struggle with, because I really want to know what the answers are.
I want to know what the answers are.
That is the Skyrim part of me. Exactly. Skyrim, you can mark things as completed. You can complete quests. I can't do that in RPGs.
Met one of the data princess.
Check.
I mean, I don't have anything useful or that's a real word answer. So
More dots to investigate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for long mysteries, you constantly have to check in whether it's obvious or not as to whether people are interested in the mystery or if they're disengaging. And I kind of got the impression going forward that there was still kind of this engagement. And then at one point, the engagement shifted to taking a stand. But it wasn't, to me, it didn't feel like it was disengagement from the mystery. It was more we're noticing that things are happening and we do not want these things to occur any longer. But I also had to trust in the mystery and trust that, as Liz was saying, there are different hooks, and if some hooks are not being pursued, things must continue. I'm not a fan of like, oh, well, you didn't look into this. Well, it turns out that means that you're really screwed and the entire world blows up and the game is over because you just didn't happen to follow this. Like, that's a Sierra Online, adventure game thing where you're like, oh, you didn't pick up this item like 4 hours ago. Well, now you can't win. Right? Which is so unfulfilling. But at the same time, I feel like a mystery is also not as fulfilling if it doesn't feel dynamic. If it feels like, well, it'll be there when we get there. And sometimes you can also just abandon plot lines. Like, that's okay. That's fine. Why are you feeling attacked?
It doesn't feel fine for me to abandon plot lines.
I'm sorry, Liz.
It just means 5% of my brain will always be worried about it.
But sometimes plot lines get abandoned because players just aren't engaging with it at all. This happened less in this campaign, and more in previous ones that we've played. But there have absolutely been times where I've been like, well, yeah, but what about this? And you're just like, we're done with that. We don't want to deal with it. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. And it's totally fine, right? There were answers in Changeling for a couple of plot lines, and I'm like, if you had done this, it would have succeeded. But the reality is that you were just like, we just didn't care. And like
there were other priorities.
Yeah, but like that's super legit too, right? Like the idea of other priorities is one thing, but also if it's just, man, I just don't care enough about this character to help. I'm not saying that that's what it was, but if it's, I just don't care enough about this to make a difference for it, or this is so not what my character cares about that I'm just going to ignore it. Sometimes you just kind of have to be like, yep, that's the way it is. Doop 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 doop. Here's a long question. If the House of Bells, rest in peace, hadn't fallen, what roles in the Legion/Navies would have been chosen? Like aide de camp, logistics, military intelligence, artillery commanders, quartermaster, etc. Whatever niche choices exists in Creation of the Realm, where would you have seen your characters go on?
Wild Hunt.
Damn. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, Liz, I don't know. You want to...
I don't know if I want to reveal mine because it might play into like Gale.
Hashtag Gale.
So I don't know. I don't know if I want to say.
It's fair.
And I think like similarly. Well, no, I guess if we're talking about like, oh, you're graduating. Okay, so obviously certain events in the first season did not happen.
That's true.
In which case, it's still kind of tough because I feel like Pyre's
kitchen duty, just all day, every day for Pyres.
all day or day. You know, you get to work with your shirt off.
More like
What?
Prince of the Kitchen.
I make a mean sandwich.
I mean,
It's.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just like, I'm just not like. I think Pyres had a plan for where he saw himself, but that was actively changing, right? Like he was actively trying to discover something that was not, a Talon leader or whatever. I don't know the commander's ranks. I'm so sorry. I probably should. But yeah, other than that, I think he had plans to try to find something new for himself, but he wasn't there yet.
Yeah, and maybe not specifically the Wild Hunt, but definitely something out in the realm, like enforcing the societal, like the throne's control over the realm itself.
Baywatch Archive Edition. Shiranosho asks, speaking of NPCs, do you believe that you have unlocked the true boss of ExalTwitch Academy?
No, there's always a bigger fish, right? Like, that's and I mean, if there isn't a bigger fish, then there's like a bigger one that can be created, right? Like that's the fun of it, I think. The magistrate. Sorry, Sugar Junkie. That's something else. Never mind. It's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Hashtag have a hair sniff.
Hashtag have a hair sniff. That takes me back too.
Not a question, but still interesting. Kung Fu Fenris predicts that Arresta will get a crush on a Sidereal.
Aw.
Could happen.
If there indeed are any Sidereals.
Whoa!
What?
It could have already
It
happened.
could have already happened.
Yeah, and just don't remember. Maybe she keeps, having these encounters and, she's like, oh, I must have read that in a book.
Passing someone in the street. Like doing the double take, but as you turn back, they're gone.
Whoa.
Whoa.
It's like the
Good
Notebook.
double take.
What did you think of this season being entirely in one location, unlike previous games?
Not gonna lie, I kept trying to leave for a session or two. I don't know if y'all noticed, but Gail kept suggesting we go to the village, that we go sneak to the beach and try to get information about the heightened sense, that we go on field trips. Like I was trying to do some recon outside of the school because it felt like all the information in the school was being so controlled.
Doing
so
some
it was
recon outside of my school when a couple of guys, they were up to no good.
start.
So I think I got a little stir crazy. It was cool. It was a cool change, though.
I figured that was the plan, so I was okay with it, at least, for now.
I quite liked it, actually, like being sort of like centered in one location. I never got the sense that we were like, the gates weren't locked, but certainly like within the context of the game, it would have been hard to be like, hey, Commandant, just like gonna pop out for a couple brewskis, okay? Like, oh, just gotta go investigate something. Okay, like I'm a bro now. Server bro now. You have to. You wouldn't have to engineer something necessarily, but I never felt like trapped in the setting, so to speak. But I thought it was really cool to be in a place where there was so much kind of concentrated like knowledge, and thematically the focus was on like becoming a better person, like a more educated person. I think that's fab.
And then the crusty old Commandant puts you on double secret probation.
Oh, that Commandant. Damn, she's got me scrubbing floors again.
So cool, sugar junkie.
Nice.
Amazing.
You're famous now, John.
I'm
We're
not
on
famous.
TV tropes.
Krister is the one who you gotta talk about sidereals with, not me.
How will I remember? No, that's not happening.
Common don't, am I right?
Hashtag common don't. So, I think we've cleared through our questions so far, which does mean, though, that I'm going to bring up one that had come in from outside. So, Requiem had some questions but couldn't be here today, so asked me to pass along a couple here. So this one I kind of already answered. I'm just going to make sure that it gets its due. John said in the past that on occasion he will hear some conspiracy theories and think they're so good that he adjusts the plot slightly to make them fit. Did that happen at all during the season, and if so, what? So my answer is I won't tell you. And the main problem, the reason why I will say that I won't tell you is because in my experience, while I have been open about the fact that I am flexible in terms of plot lines, and I'm also flexible in terms of figuring out what the players want moving forward, they don't often want to see how the sausage is made. If I were to reveal after the fact, oh yes, I made this change specifically because I painted myself into a corner and therefore I changed this or whatever, then sometimes you'll get people who are like, oh, that's great. But sometimes it can feel really unsatisfying because even though you were fine when it was bliss, when ignorance was bliss, once you know, then you start second guessing everything that happened in the entire campaign, being like, but then what about this happened, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this? And the reality is that I don't make changes if I don't think they can still be supported. But if I've missed something, and I can, it's easy, I don't want players to then retroactively go back and try to find the holes. That's not going to make them feel good, and it's not going to make me feel good, and I don't think it'll make the audience feel good. So while I'll say sometimes if I see a conspiracy theory and I'm like, that's a really cool idea, and I'll see if I can, make that happen, I will almost never confirm it. And I will say that it doesn't happen that often. I'm not sitting here waiting for somebody else to come up with the answers for the game, being like, oh, I just got to keep holding on. Someone will come up with a good answer. Shit. So
Bracken switches back to her default idle animation and
Right.
waits for you to say something. Yeah.
And as Kung Fu Fenris mentions, you got to be able to keep your players guessing. And as Sugar Junkie says, keeping a plot outline is sketched in pencil rather than published in ink is really the best way to look at it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good idea to let people know when changes happened.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt. I'm drawing a parallel here. Like when you watch really good short form or long form improv, right? Like to you, the audience member, that's the only way that scene could have played out. You know what I mean? Like, I guess unless you have like unless you're an improviser and you're watching it, whatever. But like when you are doing it, And I know we've all had really great moments, like not just through this season, but like over the course of all of RPG Clinic's campaigns. There's been like really like awesome. All the scenes are improvised, guys. I don't want to like worry anyone, but this is all improvised. But like, when you're doing it in the moment, you might think to yourself, "Oh shoot, I should have gone this way." But damn it, But as long as you're committed to the scene from the audience perspective, often, at least to me, it feels like, oh, that's the way it should have been, because that's the way it was. We talk about sketching stuff in pencil or whatever, but like once it's done, it's out there, and that's kind of how it is. It feels right. It's cool.
But that doesn't mean that I won't bring up Requiem's related question. This one's for the players. What was your favorite conspiracy theory you saw people talking about during the season?
Oh boy.
The infinite tinfoil hats of Juin before the reveal.
The infinite tinfoil hats.
Who would be who the anathema was. Just trying to figure out who it was and what all that was. There was so much discussion in the Discord.
My personal fave was, I think I want to attribute it to Gilladgood, but maybe I don't know if I should. But it was Vieren is a lunar because Vieren had gone north and had therefore, the lunar had feasted on terrestrial Vieren's heart's blood to gain that shape and had come back.
Anything that involved a lunar, because that theory was also floated about Siantel for the exact same idea, and those are always the really like great conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Oh, I love that shit. That was. No. I was sitting there being like, oh my god, it's true.
Krister, that is a sharp eye. That is indeed Lee the She, my signed Dieter Lisi print.
Gorge.
Off back there. So yeah, good call there. Were there other conspiracy theories that you liked? I'm going to point out one that I really liked at the end, but
yeah, I also just not to state another one, but I really liked how this season like created so much conspiracy. I can't really remember anything like this in the past.
It's thanks to Gilladgood. I'm gonna say it like
we're dropping it out there, folks.
It's thanks to Gilladgood that the tinfoil hats were piled as high as they were.
That's true. I think this, but have you considered this? Oh my god, just like on top.
My favorite was Gilladgood's correctly calling what Nekarb was.
Yeah.
And the thing that I'm not sure of was how certain that prediction was, or whether it was like, this is off the fucking wall, but maybe it's this. But seeing that, I breathed a sigh of relief, because I was like, oh good, it at least makes somewhat sense to someone. Okay, it's not completely like crazy ideas. So that helped, seeing that and being like, oh, okay, phew. Now, of course, that had to be made, that decision was made before we had more information about what they'd end up being like. And we're still getting that information. We're still getting that kind of drip feed. But that was an interesting moment for me. I love seeing conspiracy theories get thrown out there. But I'll be honest, sometimes I wait before looking because I don't want to be tempted. Sometimes somebody comes up with an idea and it's so off the wall and I'm like, that's so cool. I got it. And I'm like, no, trust. You'll see. But in this case, that was a really cool moment to see somebody actually guess it, but also not be like, oh, it's this, and I can prove it's this because here's the page number on the book that says that's what it is. That was handy for me. So Krister's got a thing to mention. There's one thing that I want to say that it inspired me, making me bring it up with a few of the core players for those interested in Exalted in my social circle. It's the act by Aresta and the call made by John with the manipulation brawl, for the simple reason that it reminds us that the system doesn't have to be static.
So that's trying to hide the fact that I wasn't killing Viren. That I was in fact just trying to knock him out, but make someone else think That's what I was doing. And I appreciate that John lets us do those moments. That's like, this is something that isn't spelled out in the book or the rules, but this feels like the right move at this time. So, yeah.
I wish it had worked.
Yeah.
There was a part of me that really wanted to keep Viren alive. But the other thing that I'll point out is that as cool as it is to find new ways to deal with the dice in that way, the dice have a purpose. They have a point. And if you ask for a roll and the roll happens and it doesn't come out the way that you like, there are sometimes ways that you can kind of get around it. But like, you made the roll, but the roll wasn't good enough.
I knew it was a gamble. I was going up against like Oressa's decided that she's like as strong as Solar's gets, basically. So she knew that she was literally like risking her life. She's been a Solar for at least 10 years, maybe like 20 or longer. Like that sounds like way too long and way too strong. So she's like, well, I might die for this, but I'm going to try. So
that makes twice then in the last session that we were like, I might die for this, but I'm going to try. Fires, what was your moment? Oh.
When I secretly tried to do something and I almost died?
Yeah.
What are you referring to?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Did you have one?
Did you have one?
I don't.
Pyrus came close to death a couple of times, yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Talking about the finale specifically.
Okay. I think I missed the question.
Oh, well, we're just saying like
we were talking about
Arresta rolled the manipulation
Yeah,
roll.
yeah.
And even though she knew that if she failed, she might get killed by Juin, and then like Gale went outside with Kraken.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
then she knew she might
I
die,
missed
so I
the
was
jump
just...
from that conversation. I understand.
It's because it happened in my head.
Oh,
Of course,
thanks, Liz.
It's because it wasn't
Okay.
present for the world.
Oh yeah, choosing. Oh yeah, no, I took okay, so I also took a gamble in the finale, which albeit or the climactic fight, albeit one that used leveraged a much larger pool of dice, but like using appearance presence or charisma presence or whatever it was to convince a bunch of people to lay down their arms. The classic, it's the classic, it's the Han Solo running down the hallway, right? If you shout loud enough, they're gonna think there's a bunch of you. The old bait and switch.
Check.
I can turn you up a little bit on my end here.
Checkity check.
Yeah, it might have just been a moment.
Oh yeah.
We'll keep an eye on it. Krister also mentions that they also liked that I set a secret wound limit. When I set a secret limit, I usually take a die, I set it to what I want it to be, and I cover it. Because it also helps for me to then be able to see like, yes, I set a limit, but it wasn't an arbitrary limit. Haha! It turns out that the limit was you were always going to succeed or you were always going to fail no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But setting that limit to me was also just insurance, because there's sometimes, as a storyteller, I get the impression that a player, if they want to, they can just sink everything they have into a role to make it work. And if it's a role that I'm already kind of like, this is an interesting situation, but I'm not sure that I want to let this through, then it sometimes is a handy thing to be like, okay, well, if you're too good at it, though. Oops.
I have a very distinct recollection of, I'm sure I've told this before, in a Exalted second game that we played with you, John, of fully just being like, attack, and just like picking up my damage dice and then going, can I pull this? And you're like, no, it's too late to, because like I was mid cleave or whatever, and I ended up like slicing a very critical NPC in half. Yeah, it was really bad news.
Yeah,
it was fine, but like, gosh, it's similar.
Yeah, for that it would have been when you described your stunt.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the time to make an effort to be like, but I don't actually want this to happen. But if it happens after the fact, you're like, I rolled 900 successes, and so the guy just evaporates in front of you. Then
you're like, but is he okay?
Whoa.
Whoa! Yeah. That's good.
So I'm going to ask you. I asked the three of you to pull some paper. So I'm going to ask you just a couple of questions. I'm going to see also, once I've asked you a few, we'll see if the audience has some other ideas as well. But I'm going to ask you to write down if you had to pick an NPC, and it could be any NPC that appeared, to have been the commander for the Lost Hand, and it doesn't have to be somebody who's in the Lost Hand, it could have been anybody, who would you have been most amused to see?
Absolutely zero contest.
Okay. So the answers, and let's see.
You read this? Ooh.
Jinx got
1 for Flavienne, but 2 for Quick Rat.
Yes! No contest. In my opinion.
I just thought if Quick Rat were the commander, I would have lost my mind.
Oh yeah, for sure. But amusing.
Like, I think if I may have laughed for like 5 minutes, and then I think my brain would have exploded.
5 minutes. Oh boy.
If you were to abandon all current romantic interests or relationships, and you had to pick another one up, who would be the most interesting for you?
Interesting?
Yeah. And the answer could be no one.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going off of the word interesting.
Yes, interesting is the word that I've chosen. I will also say that for the purposes of this, because this is a completely hypothetical, you can choose a professor. Even though we've established that isn't happening. But this is just a hypothetical interesting moment. Of course, now I guess they're not really your professors anymore, are they?
They're just corpses.
Not really anyone's anything anymore, John, are they?
Yep. Oh, I'll say, by the way, my answer to which NPC turned out differently was Seven Fingers, because I didn't realize that the first time I tried his accent, I would be like, holy shit, what have I done?
Yeah, it really, like, sparked something in you, eh, John?
Ugh.
I feel
I
like
had to watch a whole bunch of Australian Ninja Warrior.
Oh shit! I
Yeah.
mean, that sounds
It was
amazing.
fun.
All right, let's see.
Most skilled air aspect from game 2. Fokuf.
And then I crossed it out and I wrote Sepe. Fires!
Oh, very nice.
That is interesting, actually.
That would be really dangerous because it's going from like, I hated you growing up to, oh god, this is complicated.
That's like Briars, though. Hashtag it's complicated, right?
Yeah,
feel
I
like-
mean, it was Pyres or Brevin. So they're basically the same person. Which is why they like each other.
Ah. Ruffle.
That makes them
my ears
angrier.
to
It's
check
perfect.
Off mine ear. Get out of here. Absolutely insane.
Yes. Yes.
You're the same person? Yes.
Oh dear.
You he doesn't know.
I have a mole.
What is the biggest disappointment your character has that's completely petty? Knowing what happened at the end of the campaign, the pettiest disappointment. Like, oh, but I left my textbook in this room.
That is pretty bad. Oh, okay. So what I was thinking was not petty. It was actually quite important.
A polycule with Aresta, Brevin, and Pyres.
Woof.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Woof as well. Thank you.
Bro Resta.
Bro, rest. Oh no. I'm gonna need a sec.
That's okay. You're allowed a sec. Incidentally, if there's any questions that you want to ask these three in this sort of like,
Or him.
or me,
Or
yeah, I can. I have paper I can use.
That's fair, Liz.
Then it's fair
Dare
game
you?
Sorry.
for
You
anybody
copied my
who's with
answer.
us.
No.
Ooh.
I have some ideas.
ideas.
Yay.
Goddamn right you do, Aragorn.
Oh, sorry. Aragorn's voice. Yeah, I have some ideas.
What?
That's how Aragorn sounds.
Yeah.
Aragorn impression. I've been told. Spot on.
Yeah.
You
totally.
guys.
Yeah, her performance on this show is very different from that voice.
Yeah. She's
Excellent
good
voice actor.
voice. Yeah.
Mhm.
There is one person who I don't think I'd be able to imitate at all, and that's Trey.
Oh God, that voice, that like radio voice, like yeah.
It's not
Like
that I.
spicy butter.
It's the combination of the graveliness
Spicy.
and the graveliness, the accent, the wit. I would have to like really work at it for a long time before I felt like I could come up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually just me VOing Erwin's character.
Good ventriloquism
Damn.
skills.
Liz's K.
What do you think, Aragwen? Liz is just
Finn is jacked.
Oh, I thought I was using my drink to disguise the fact that I'm talking.
That's really
To
impressive.
like hide my mouth.
Classic ventriloquism.
Grubermatch, I love this. Imagining a Gatimian and nobody can decide if they're a reflection of Revan or Pyres.
Oh,
Erwin, there's
wait.
certain words that I wouldn't be as comfortable using.
Yeah.
All right, so your petty regrets.
Very good.
No library or final exams. Not
Not
getting
getting a little smooch.
Can't bring Dad's book crate.
Of course.
No.
There's no way that I can sneak around in like, Arja for the world with like a big ass crate full of books. Don't mind
Exalted,
me.
fair
I'm
enough.
just a regular, everyday, normal kid.
Oh, just carrying some pelts.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to sneak around, but I'm dummy thick, and the clap of my book crate keeps alerting the guards.
There we go.
Clonk, clonk.
More stealth charms.
More stealth
More
charms.
stealth.
All right, we'll see if some ideas come in from people, but I'll ask another one just for now.
No, like in the last session, Aragwen. I thought
Yeah.
we meant.
So
I thought we meant.
if you had to, this one's just for Liz and for Kate.
Oh.
Single Edge or Brevin?
Oh.
So Pringles or
Briars.
Briars?
Friars.
So the ice cream or the chips?
I mean, I must say I have a preference. In my life,
They've both survived.
Yeah. In what shape and when will we see them again is the question.
I mean, I didn't intend for these ship names to come up as well as they did.
Oh, they're incredible.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gilad, good. Don't say the C word.
Yeah, we don't say that here.
Oh,
All right.
I was
We don't
like,
use that
whoa.
word around
I
here.
still really anyway. Yeah,
Who
we'll
was
talk
using
about.
that
All
language?
right, let's have a look.
Let's have a look.
Pringles,
Okay.
you fool. And I put Briars, but Bri-Reg okay too. A
Nice.
threesome.
Reg.
Bri-Reg.
Ooh.
I don't think Briars is healthy yet.
Oh no.
Like, you
For me,
both need to figure out what the hell is going on with your shit before you can explore
We
each
had that
other's.
library scene. We
stuff.
figured out what was going on.
It ended.
Oh, that's all we needed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. I don't approve.
We both learned that we were both not ready.
They're teenagers is not supposed to be healthy. So for any teenagers who may be watching us, don't think you're necessarily in our Paikoof. God damn.
Oh, it's good.
For any teenagers out there, we're not saying that your relationships are unhealthy. Explicitly.
We are.
No, but like, you're new to relationships. Like, I know when I was a teenager, my experience of relationships was entirely through media. And it's not interesting to have a story where everyone's just happy in their relationships or work and they communicate. Like, so much of television and film is based on people not communicating and assuming the other person to just guess. So, like, of course you suck at relationships when you're a teenager. Like, you don't actually know how to do shit.
You're trying to emulate Gossip Girl.
Right?
No.
Soap operas. Like,
Gossip Girl.
Don't do it.
Oh.
Sure no show is a
There's a
question
reason.
for me. Which NPC gave me the most trouble with a very loose understanding of trouble? Give me the most trouble. I mean, we're gonna leave the accent behind for 7 minutes.
That's easy.
That's a little too easy. All right, I'm gonna answer you, and this is gonna be a very minor spoiler, very, very minor. It was Leanne, whose whereabouts are currently unknown.
Mm-hmm. One of the few we didn't find during the battle. We're not even playing. We're getting a little like, ooh, over here. It's good.
I like this question from Grubermensch. If you had followed Siantel's plan and split up, who would you break cover to meet first?
Ooh.
Like, Aresta immediately. I feel like immediately I'd be like, Aresta, help! I got into trouble.
OTP.
I mean, honestly, I'm okay with it.
Besties forever.
Like, probably, yeah, I'd say legit, actually. Oh.
But we can go for the Irish ship. Oh, liars!
Oh, liars! Olay. That's me. Would you break cover for anyone, Liz?
I think Gail would try to find Siantel because she would want to find out more about the SLC plot.
That was one of Gail's two, like, coming out of that session. I remember you were very clear what your goals were.
That's right.
You're like, with or without you, I'm doing this and I'm doing this. And we're like, okay, all right. Okie dokie.
What about you?
That's tough. That's really tough. And like anyone, it doesn't have to be part of the
Anyone.
circle.
Could be even your family.
No, I feel like she would try to find Brevin because Brevin was always such a different perspective, but always wanted to get shit done. And he was always there to like put out a hand to someone in need. That I feel like that would have been who she would have gone to. She'd be like, cool, I know where my fang is. Like I can like sense where they are at any time. We agreed that we need to split up for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You just activate your Fangdar.
If it's outside of the Fang, then you win. 100%.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
How weird is this? Just
Fuck
like
you guys.
a crate of books.
I mean, that too.
Creative books.
Yeah, it's the like Batman Forever thing, and it's like the fang suspended, and on the other side it's the crate of books, and the rest is like
Sweating.
I'll preempt everyone's question for a second. We'll go for Luke's. This is similar to the commander question, but if you could pick another NPC to join the Fang instead of Flavienne and Siantel.
Oh, and now without the benefit of hindsight, with the benefit of hindsight, if we had to or if we could.
Truly, there's nobody else no other named character that was in our year that we knew well enough for Gail to want to invite. Like when I said the tryouts, I'm not even kidding. I think she would have actively gone to like scout people and then tried to poach them for her Fang. Yeah, I can't picture her like being down to invite anybody else.
Yeah. NPC, it's a good point, because there were a lot of cool, like, I'm thinking of other NPCs that are like, oh, this is fun. Not in 5th year.
They're not in our year. Yeah, exactly.
What if years weren't a consideration?
Leanne, honestly, would be super interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I lied. Single Edge. I'd invite
Single Edge.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just turn the Fang
some
into
hot
a
water
rice.
over there.
Maybe Leanne. Gail would still snipe at her a lot, but
Fuck Kenton.
clearly has skills.
Yeah, that's true.
Kenton just makes me think of Kenton. Makes me want ramen.
Oh, and honestly, Kate, every time I'm like,
All right, bust your papers out. Here we go.
woo!
What subject would you have liked your character to have been able to have a classroom scene for which didn't occur, while the bells stood. So what subject? Sex ed.
I don't think.
Did you say that before,
they-
Krister?
I didn't read it, so apparently Krister and I just have the same.
Maturity
Oh
level.
my god, amazing.
But like, can you imagine what sex ed would be like? It would actually be a really fascinating subject because the expectations and yet also the hubris of the princes of the earth would make that a really interesting class.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I see that all of you are here. I'm going to ask that you restrain your anima while I talk about tab A into slot B.
Hey, in the back, what did I just say?
What charms are bedroom safe anyway? There are sex charms. They do exist.
Sex charms.
Ooh. Every day I flare when I go fuck. Anyway. Personally, ever given sex ed at home? I doubt it. I think sex ed is the sort of thing that happens, like, I mean, especially in a military academy, you're going to go out there in the world. You're going to want to stick things in things.
God damn it.
Let's talk. Let's rap about this.
Oh no, it's the cool teacher. That's
Turns the
terrible.
chair around.
Yeah.
Oh no. The Captain America, I guess, yeah. As well. Oh god.
So here we go.
Yep.
What's your subject?
Here we go. Can you see this? God damn.
Naval combat lulls. The etiquette of the commander's table.
And naval combat.
I'm really bad at like format when
Subject
I write.
for class.
If you turn it around, you literally
Literature?
have- Oh, you're
Literature.
What did you said literature?
Yeah.
Nice.
Pugajutsu asks,
Wow.
what would each of the PCs buy from an ice cream truck?
I mean,
The truck.
the whole truck.
Flavian is just like, I have to choose? I don't understand.
Does anyone have money?
Tell you what, you buy something from the truck. I'm just going to sneak around behind for a bit. While they're answering that question, I'm actually going to
Important question.
I'm just going to answer Grubermensch right here. Was it an intentional choice not to have a manse on the grounds of the House of Bells? Nobody looked for one.
I mean, there were those tunnels down there.
Established fact. Tunnel system.
Establish a fact.
Flavin would just take the cones, just...
Yeah, she's bread focused.
All right.
Yeah, you can't read.
Plain Freezy, a big old rocket,
And the kitchen sink or the safari hat. There are places that either have some like a dish that looks like a kitchen sink that has a ton, or an entire safari hat filled with ice cream. That usually they like you get it free if you actually finish it. So that's what a rest would get.
What? Kate, I've never heard of this.
Well,
a
we have-
safari hat? That's so exciting.
Yeah, that's Wild Willie's. It's wonderful.
Oh, this is
it comes in a hat.
wonderful.
You keep the hat.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
yeah,
also
but
expensive AF.
Yeah, it's like 25 scoops of ice cream.
But like, does it have plastic or something to protect
Yeah.
the hat?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
okay.
plastic safari hat.
I was like, you got a ruined hat.
Yeah.
I understand now.
Yeah. It's honestly designed either for like a group of people to attack at once, or for that one like total chode who's just like, oh yeah, I could totally eat 25 scoops of ice cream. And then either they fail and everyone laughs at that guy, or they succeed and everyone's just like backing away slowly.
And Aragorn mine.
Lols.
Using Liz there. Sorry. Thanks, Liz.
How dare! How dare!
How dare you?
Let's see if there are other.
The etiquette of the commander's table.
Dun, dun, dun,
Hello,
dun, dun,
can
dun,
I
dun,
pour
dun,
your
dun,
tea
dun,
for
dun,
you?
dun. Yeah. And then we just play Good Society for a session, and everyone's happy.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Oh shit.
The dream.
Good Society Exalted Edition.
Oh my god.
Now, if you go to Bonfire, it's not appropriate in high society culture.
We'll see if we get any additional
One cannot simply
questions
glow at the
in.
table.
But I do have a couple that aren't necessarily serious, but you know, you could potentially take it that way. What was your favorite moment of season 1?
Oh
Oh
boy.
boy.
Oh yeah,
You know what? I should have assumed this was going to happen. Actually,
I'm that asshole.
I definitely should have come
I
prepared.
probably
for
should have asked you this like a week
this.
ago.
Well, that's,
So, like,
that's-
think about it.
Think about this.
Just going back through my notes. I have one episode that's just
Oh.
like, what?
Ah, no. Oh, it's going to get away from me.
Oh, are we writing it down?
You don't have to write it down, but you can.
Oh.
I'm going to.
Okay.
What was it? Oh, yeah.
So immense, as Erwin just explained, by the way, it's a magical structure. It's kind of like a place where power focuses, like a loci. In Mage, you would kind of potentially build a manse on top of a like ley lines or a node.
Yes.
12th
nice.
node, as it were.
Sorry. Took a while.
That's
Okay.
it's an extremely obscure
Yeah, that's very neat.
deep
Sorry,
cut.
I can't remember what it was.
Ooh.
That's so disappointing. Okay. Yes, I'm ready.
All right. I'm just gonna ask you to do it one at a time. So
Okay.
let's go Liz first because
Yep.
you started reveal.
The fight between the lost hand in the infirmary.
Ooh.
When everyone was just yelling at each other, we had just come back from being almost killed in the glade.
No, we were real mean.
And tempers were high, and feelings were hurt, mistakes were made, and I just thought it was awesome.
Mistakes were made. It's true.
I think Liz just likes it when there's conflict.
I like high drama.
What can I tell you?
I do.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yep. So I just can't remember what it was because I'm a really disappointing person. But it says Aresta's one-liner about hope and abandon.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
also wrote Glade Fire. So like seriously, I think the set piece around the glade, around Juin, and around specifically like Aresta making the fire break, but then we were still in a fire and like we had to deal with that was awesome. But also I don't think I've ever like what as much as at that. But I can't remember what it was because I'm lame. I have to go find it now. It was very fun.
First, Fracken, she tells you in the singing.
Nice. Yeah.
Who in fact was not
Yeah.
who was Nekarb,
Yeah, Fracken.
not
Nekar.
Bracken.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. As soon as there was a she tells you, I'm like, this is someone else.
Balls.
I think it took me a long time to figure that out. I couldn't point at the exact moment, but I feel like I was a lot later to that party than everyone else. Funny. What about you, John? Do you have a
Aw.
can you name your favorite baby? Your favorite moment? Oh, excellent. Thanks, Erwin.
My favorite moment in the campaign, I think it was when, and this isn't specifically me liking one player's action, it was how everybody dealt with it. It was when Aresta assumed command. The reason why I liked that specifically was because this is where I believe, at least for that period of time, the group fell into a dynamic of the face, the brains, the strategy, and the commander, the eye of the storm, as it were. Which I thought was a really interesting dynamic because it would be very easy for any of you to say, well, Pyre's invested the most heavily in social, he should be the commander, right? Or,
Fair.
well, I mean, it doesn't make sense for if Pyre's can't be the commander, then we'll have no commander. It would have been easy to do that as well. And I'm looking forward to, in all of our campaigns, whether it's Exalted or anything else, penis.
I just
Quite the
don't-
quote.
What the hell happened?
You know what happened.
I don't.
Number 16.
Who knows? I really liked the fact that your group dynamics can shift. Some of that is going to be settling, right? Like as you play your characters, then you'll settle into how things go. But I also really like the fact that it's not set in stone. Because when things are set in stone, sometimes that means that you've established a foundation, and sometimes it just means that you've become too rigid.
Mm-hmm.
So I like fluidity in that respect.
Yeah, very true.
Luke asks, if there had been a trope Freaky Friday body swap scene,
Oh boy.
which PC or NPC would you have liked to temporarily play? Kate saw this question earlier and wrote down her answer already.
That's a good
That's good.
question. I was hoping
great
it would go
question.
up on deck.
So we get to, it's us playing another PC or NPC, right?
That's my understanding.
I
Temporarily play another PC
gotta
or
go
an
with my gut.
NPC.
Nothing gives me more joy.
All right. Let's see.
Yes.
Gale, Pyres, and
Pyres.
Gale.
Gale and Pyres. We'll take it. Nice.
It would be so fun to be
Such
so
a, like-
neutral and analytical and also awesome.
Kate, I imagine you would have similar issues to what I've had with Gail, which is like Kate would, get impassioned about a situation, but Gail would not. And so you
Whatever.
just- when you notice my eyeballs, fire,
Yeah.
that's what's happening.
Yeah, whatever, I guess.
That's good.
Gillard Good
Sure,
mentions personal favorite was swearing the oath. It's normally presented like a heavy religious moment with extravagant words being said. The simplicity of it was really touching.
Thank you, Erdwin, for doing the
Were you
research.
just like tearing your shirt?
That I was
off?
I'm
about
being
to-
Pyres.
Being Pyres, but it was so up.
It
I was
just
like so
oh
dramatic.
my god. Hey guys.
I got it here.
Hi. Welcome.
Is that what I
to the
sound
House
like
of
to you?
Bells, the house of me.
I love it.
Is this what I sound like to you? We've been together the whole season. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, what the hell? Episode 59. Research time.
Penis was uttered during Changeling episode 59.
To unsubscribe to Changeling Facts, please text unsubscribe.
Just text penis too. Boy.
I'll tell you what. Plucky Hero asks a thing. I'm going to bring up another question that Requiem asked here.
Ah.
I don't know what you have planned for the future of Exalted, whether you are continuing this story or starting a new story in the same world state. So, this question is making the assumption that this is the end of these character stories for the time being. Given what you know now, what would each player feel is an appropriate epilogue for their character?
Well,
Oh, sorry.
the thing is, we can't answer that question.
How can we answer it?
The situation is pretty simple, Requiem. We can't answer that question because the answer hasn't happened yet. We can officially announce that ExalTwitch Academy Season 2 will be following the continued adventures of Aresta, Pyres, and Gale Whispered. We're continuing the story. After consultation among the four of us, that's where people decided to go.
And between seasons, we will be making a change, a system change.
Oh.
I thought you were going to be like, we're making a change. Our storyteller
John.
isn't working.
Yeah, John's out.
John's been let go. And
Welcome,
Hey, John,
Ella.
you're in.
Meow.
That voice in here. Let's go. My God.
Yep, we're fairly certain that Essence is going to be a great fit for us. So we're going to do our best to make that happen.
This is going to mean a lot of work.
Yeah.
It means getting ourselves up to date on a system which at the moment is kind of in beta right now. The manuscript is being released in chunks. We are picking it up. We're now, having seen the systems, some of the charms, the character creation and all that, we remain confident that this is going to be an exciting thing to try. It is going to mean that we may encounter some bumps on the road because not everything in that rulebook is perfectly laid out. As is understandable, it's a manuscript. It's not a finished product. So we are going to do our best to convert these characters over to Exalted Essence, which is going to be an interesting challenge.
Yep.
Love it, Mangani.
It does mean, for instance, that I have told the players that they are within their total rights to make some changes to their characters going forward, things that will be more appropriate for them going forward into season 2. This isn't a min-max question. This is just in a different system, things will change. Some powers will be gained. Some powers will be lost. It's impossible to do a 1-for-1. So this is going to be an intricate challenge for the players and for myself to build the characters in essence so that they still feel like they are the Gale and Pyres and Aresta that we know and love, and yet fit into a different a different setting or system, I should say. Same setting.
Same setting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're like I certainly always get like amazing. I certainly always get a little nervous because like systems have different ways of expressing different, facets of a character. But like what I'm trying to just remind myself is like, trust that the hard, like step 1 of character creation in any version of Exalted is what's your character concept, right? And then you build from there. So if the concept is the same because it's the same person, then like, you should be able to build out from there, and it should translate well, I think. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
I'm glad we don't have to bid adieu to this trio of lunatics quite so soon.
Oh my God, Pyres! Book nerding was so
last season. Hey.
Oh my God!
Which means that one of the things that we can announce first, right off the bat, is this Thursday on clinic hours, we're going to have our live conversion as much as possible.
We've lost our friends again.
No.
They're back.
Hello,
They
they're back.
unfroze just in time to be unhappy. Yay, you're back. You're fine. That was weird.
That might mean my computer's about to restart, so just everyone be
'Kay,
aware.
we won't panic.
Don't panic.
Uh,
It doesn't bode
Uh,
well.
So we're going to try to convert
Aresta.
Aresta on stream. We believe that we will have access to most of what we need.
Yeah, they're releasing chunks of the charm, so they have the universal charms already. But I'm not, anything that I do on that is subject to change, which is usually the case, but also in particular, because if for some reason there are charms that aren't out yet, or that I haven't had time to look at yet, I don't know if martial arts, I was going to say martial arts might only have just dropped or whatever, so I'll just be like, I assume that I'm going to put 3 martial arts charms or whatever.
Yeah.
And for now, I think we'll use my character sheet that I made based on what I have seen. Obviously, there are chapters that we haven't seen. Maybe, it's entirely wrong because they don't have an official one yet. So, yeah.
That is so exciting, and I
Yeah.
desperately wish we could be there in person with y'alls. I'm going to try to catch the end of the
Indeed.
sesh.
Yeah, that's your homework. Your homework is to be done your move in time to get a nice cold beverage and sit down and catch
Sit down and
some
watch Well, that's actually really
I
fun.
mean, if all goes well, we will have internet on Thursday.
Yeah, it's true, actually. So there you go. Good.
Why don't we have a look at what's coming up? Next week, June 20th, it doesn't happen very often, but it will happen. We will not be streaming next Sunday. We're just not. We don't often take breaks, but frankly, we need one, especially because there are moves afoot.
Yeah. We
So-
are indeed in the process of moving, and I'm sure y'all's as well could use could use the time as well. So I'm sure it's gonna be great.
On June 27th,
I'm gonna run Lasers and Feelings. I got really excited for it, so I made a fun overlay, and we're gonna go on a little space adventure in space. It's a one-page RPG. It's super fun, and I'm looking forward to getting up to some hilarious hijinks.
Okay, hijinks, good.
Yep.
That's good.
I mean, maybe,
Okay.
or maybe you'll just, do science exploration. See how
Could
the
be
dice
anything.
fall.
Yeah, that's true, right? Oh boy, lasers and feelings.
and when our American friends celebrate Independence Day, we will be celebrating a session 0 for season 2. We're going to use this as kind of not only a refresher to go over things like our safety tools, our lines and veils, and our expectations, but we're also going to have to recalibrate a bit because it's Essence. It will go over what we need to know about that, and we'll also discuss where the campaign is going to pick off. Pick off.
Pick up from or
pick up
take off from.
Is there going to be a time skip? Is it going to start right away after the end of season 1 or not? So we're going to have a session 0 once again for season 2, and that will be July 4th, leading into July 11th, where we will be playing season 2.
We've spoken a bit to them. I believe they offered to host us, but the thing is, we're gonna stick on our channel. They're gonna stick on their channel, so there's a certain limitation to how much we can truly cross pollinate without melding into them, and we don't want to do that. We like being our own thing.
So we are definitely in talks with Onyx Path.
Yeah.
They have made some suggestions. We've made some suggestions. It looks like we're going to be able to do something, but we are remaining here at RPGClinic. Yeah, that is absolutely potentially going to happen, Plucky Hero.
Yeah.
The other thing that I can tell you is that if you want to see these sorts of things, then one thing that I can recommend, don't like flood channels or whatever, but talk about us.
Yeah.
On if you talk about us on their forums, on their Discord, on the Exalted Discord, bringing more eyes to us means that other people are more interested in doing things with us. So if this is the kind of thing that you think is interesting, it's within your, like, I know that it sounds trite, the whole like smash that like button and ring the bell and subscribe and
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff. But it is the truth that it is in fact word of mouth that actually makes a huge difference.
That's what that is. I was like, is that like a really excited BRB? Is she like running across the continent to be here or something? Like, BRB, zoom!
Plucky Hero brings up a great example of something you can do.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you don't want to like write a forum post or anything, you do not have to. The easiest thing that you can do if you're on the Discords is upvote our stuff when we post our VODs on channels. You can react to it just so that people knows there's engagement, or on Reddit you can upvote.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as that
Yeah.
if you
Just
want.
a little boop.
Grubermensch asks, previously, there's been talk of season recaps. Is that something that's still being planned?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Almost certainly. It's going to be a great jumping on point, I think, for people of season 2, because we have to dramatically change how the game is played. The setting no longer exists the way that it once did. So it essentially will be like there's a group of Dragon-Blooded who are now basically making their way out into the realm or possibly beyond it because they have been caught up in a conspiracy that has destroyed the House of Bells where they were formerly students.
Yeah.
Because John blew it up. Sure fucking did. So there will be a recap video, most likely, that we'll be able to do. It'll be quick, so that people can kind of watch it without needing to like sit through 30 minutes of lore. Is it still going to be called Academy?
To be discussed.
Yeah, we'll have to.
With our art department.
Yeah, we'll figure that one out.
Hello,
Axe
everyone.
Academy. Well, it has to be A, right? So we can keep EXA.
Oh, they're just all going to go over to the heptagram. They're literally just going. Hup.
Oh,
I want to go back to school.
I totally wanted Gail to attend, but like, she got offered a full scholarship.
But like what, Gail? Good God.
I will say that
the
we've been
Academy.
getting some fantastic recaps from Real Brick Wall, who has been the one writing the newspaper that has been the recaps at the beginning of these shows. So we really do appreciate the work that he's been putting in. The synopses are on their way for some of the later episodes. Sadly, Real Brick Wall experienced some intense computer trouble, and I don't know if you know this right now, but computer trouble right now really sucks because of the chip shortage.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of things that he had to kind of work through. So,
Thanks, Plucky.
Academy exchange program, exchange of fists.
I mean, ExalTwitch Academy exchange program sounds pretty good to me.
So in season 2, Krister wants to play a Chosen of Secrets that's always present in your characters' minds and which obviously blame you for your possible unfortunate choices. Oh, not possible? Oh, well, can't blame you, Shauna, for trying. Continues to blame the spiders for getting things wrong. It's fair. Look, here's the other thing. If you have ideas on how you want to participate in these, you can make those suggestions. We love hearing suggestions. The whole headcanon OC characters, that was all you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We didn't do that. That was you, and we are frankly thrilled with it. So if there are things that you want to do, that's great. Can't guarantee anything, and we obviously can't guarantee that we can change the way that we play. But throw those ideas in there. I love hearing ideas, even if I know I can't do them, because hearing ideas is still really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing, Kung Fu Thunder, is like, I agree, but it's still such an awesome concept. Like, as John was saying, like, if anyone has any thoughts on how we can kind of continue that train, so to speak, let us know, right? Like, we'd love to know.
You could always go the way that Scott and I kind of write ourselves into the Nancy Drew books.
You're always present.
We're at a tavern, and y'all are just at the other table, just chilling.
Yeah.
Just
We're walking through the woods. You're on another path, kind
Yeah,
of
just
eavesdropping.
I was under the car once, I seem to recall.
You're just there. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Great
Yeah.
Curse is pretty awesome. Sounds like Krister as an HCOC. Absolutely. And look, Essence will have rules for all 10 Exalt types. So if you want to build an HCOC that isn't a Dragon Blood, now you can.
Yep.
Now you.
It's
We're
going to be all there.
They're gonna be stalking us, getting ready to murder us. It's gonna be so good and so bad.
You guys hear something? Turn around. It's like, yeah, a little like crowd of people
All
following
eating
you.
popcorn.
Yeah,
and
all
Ew.
exalted.
Yeah.
A few
Various
little like
knives.
animals skitter away. Those are the Lunars, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Oh boy.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to
Mhm.
seeing what's going to happen with you and with everybody around. I'm really interested and intrigued by this season idea, right? We created a chunk, and now we get the chance to see the next chunk. And we're going to be doing it with an adventure of a new system.
Ooh. So a lot's gonna change, I'm realizing. But it's still in the it's like still it's a continuation, which is cool too.
no matter what, look, there's a few things we just got to make clear. First is, when it comes to mods, we are spoiled.
Right.
She Who Knows 10,000 Things, Entropy's Disciple, and Strength of Borders have been there throughout. And yes, lately we've only had one of them present during our Sunday streams, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a ton of work being done behind the scenes. We appreciate all three of you. Thank you so much. We also have to thank all of you. If you're here in chat, you're amazing. If you're watching this because you weren't here live, still amazing.
Listening to it in a podcast format while you go about your day, still amazing.
Podcast with a bomb. I'm just saying. That was off
They
topic.
are.
Listen to too many podcasts. But the Discord is a great place to go. If you want to interact with this community, we are there. They're there, and it's a great thing to have a look at. So by all means, please go and have a look. We do things normally during the week. This week might look a little different. Let's go to Scott.
Yep, I can confirm I will not be streaming on Tuesday evening. We are moving. I did post a little bonus content for people on my Discord channel. It is not stream content. I just thought it was funny to post.
It's Scott
so
content.
Go and enjoy that. It's 15 seconds long. But I do look forward to being back in full force the week after. You know, we should be all set up by then for streaming at least. Yeah.
Which basically means that I'm carrying the streams this time around.
Yay!
On Wednesday will be Scrub Check. If you have a video game challenge that you want to throw at me, please do so in the Discord. We've had some great ones recently. We had to skip Scrub Check last week, but trust me, it was for a very good reason. And I am looking forward to getting back into it. I am currently, my status is Scrub, because I got wasted at chess. So we'll see what's coming up next. On Thursday, as mentioned,
Character conversion based on what we have so far in the Exalted Essence book. Switching Aresta over to a new system.
I am so excited about that.
Friday, it is possible that the setup will be good and we'll have the energy and spoons to stream more of the punch effect. Probably not, but you never know. So we'll of course keep you posted. I know y'all are very understanding, so we'll only stream if we want to. And Saturday, same thing with Drew Crew. It might be a little bit easier to stream Drew Crew because it's less labor intensive and we would have natural light, so we wouldn't have to worry about soft boxes.
Yep, true.
Never know.
All good.
Yeah, Scott labeled the box that has the Mystery of the Ski Jump Nancy Drew book in it. What did you
I think I named it. Well, I'm Nancy Drew! Exclamation point. So annoying.
So
anyway.
we'll find it.
But they might be going to Montreal.
Yeah.
Just as we're leaving.
Oh, we do love a good Drew Crew. And Krister was messaging you as well there, Liz, about having to miss Drew Crew. It's very sad, but that's okay. It's okay.
No problem, Krister.
yeah,
hope you
Krister's
can catch
seeing
the next
family, like, seriously, right now.
Yeah. It's
Do it.
important.
Yes, we also must thank.
Thanks, Pook.
Thanks for tacos.
Yeah.
And thanks for Pook. Sunday, we're off. It's not normal that we sign off on a Sunday without saying what's happening next Sunday, but we're just not streaming. We're taking a week break. We've got tech to look at. We've got all kinds of shit that we got to deal with. So,
Since to look at.
oh, I was there. Trey Dog's been doing some really interesting Days Gone streams recently, so you can have a look at his stuff too. But thanks for sticking with us. And thanks for being here at the end of Season 1. We look forward to seeing you in Season 2, and I look forward to playing with these three.
And we are very much
Right
looking forward
back
to
at ya.
playing with those two. Both of y'all. All of y'all.
We're looking forward to it, because as ever, as always, we are moving.
No way.
We won't see you in a week, but we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.